So we have a cluster group called DemoCG, and the cluster group has few capabilities. In this case, it has not enabled continuous delivery or Helm service. We have we have two Terraform files, one for AKS and one for EKS. And this is being created using TMC's own Terraform provider support. And we'll show how we can create a Kubernetes clusters in different cloud providers from a single place. The Terraform plan, which shows the plan for these two clusters. There are two plans, if you can see there. And we apply this plan to our environment, which is TMC. You should see the cluster creation initiating in the Terraform as well as on the TMC UI. Quick refresh, and you'd see two clusters which are being created in DemoCG cluster group. On clicking each of these clusters, the UI would show which phase the cluster is in. As and when it's been created, the phase changes from control plane creation to agent deployment to node pool creation. So initially, it will be in control plane creation. And eventually, one of the cluster turns out healthy. So we have multiple agents and pods within the cluster. And the system node pool of the AKS cluster is in creating phase. And we see that there are already 4 nodes on the AKS cluster, on the AKS cluster. We see the wavefront extension on the cluster, and we'll see that the 4 worker nodes are healthy. The wavefront extension is what supports our Tanzu observability. So we come back to our EKS clusters. EKS cluster is also under construction. So you'll see the wavefront extension over here is in healthy state, and you'd see the Tanzu observability's TMC adapter says that it's in OK. So I'm just fast forwarding this few seconds here. There are other ways of accessing the objects within this cluster. So if you go to a workloads section, you'll see the pods, the deployments, the replica sets within the cluster, along with the namespaces. You can see that the namespace for Helm and continuous delivery are not enabled because the cluster group did not have the continuous CI/CD as well as Helm enabled in them. So we're going to go back to the cluster group. We will enable continuous delivery here as well as Helm service. So cluster group has a section at the top for add-ons, which will show what are the add-ons which are being enabled or which are disabled or whichever state it's in. So it shows that Helm is being enabled on this cluster group, and even continuous delivery cluster sync status will show that it's being enabled in the 2 clusters which are within the cluster group. You can see that EKSBT demo in the cluster, you can see the Helm deployment is being created, and can see the 2 namespaces for Helm as well as CI/CD on the cluster. So once we have these CI/CD and Helm enabled, let me forward this a bit. So you can even select individual objects. Again, you can see the pods within those objects using TMC UI. And something to notice is that we are not using kubeconfig to access this cluster as of now.